When people think of Antarctica, most envision endless snowstorms, millennia-old ice plains, waddling penguins, and the resolute figures of researchers bundled in heavy cold weather gear. But few know that during the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, the two superpowers were at constant odds in nearly every domain. Military buildup, space exploration, and technological development, often teetering on the brink of nuclear war. Yet amid this tense standoff, 12 countries, including the US and the USSR, remarkably came together to sign the Antarctic Treaty. The treaty's core provisions were strikingly clear. No nation may conduct military activities, nuclear tests, or exploit resources excessively in Antarctica, defining the continent as a common heritage of all mankind, solely for peaceful scientific research. On the surface, this appears to be a global consensus to protect Earth's last untouched wilderness. But a closer look raises many questions. Antarctica is not only rich in coal, oil, and rare metals, but also occupies the Earth's southernmost strategic position. Deploying military forces there would allow one to monitor shipping routes and communications across much of the globe with ease. What's more puzzling is that while the treaty seems open, it places nearly insurmountable barriers for ordinary people. Approval processes can take months and require multilateral review. Even after approval, activities are strictly limited to a few areas along the Antarctic periphery, and venturing into the deep interior ice sheet is strictly prohibited. Even stranger are the no-fly zones over the Antarctic interior. According to public data from the International Civil Aviation Organization, the central region of the Antarctic ice sheet, over a 500-kilometer radius, is designated a permanent no-fly zone. No civilian or military aircraft may enter. Even planes on scientific missions must remain at the edge, file advance reports, and remain under constant monitoring. Could it be that the Antarctic interior really conceals a secret so significant that it has led countries worldwide to reach a consensus and collectively enforce such a blockade? In fact, right after World War II, the US launched an unprecedented and mysterious Antarctic expedition. Known as Operation High Jump, it was led by US Navy Rear Admiral Richard Byrd and involved 13 ships, 37 aircraft, and over 4,700 personnel, carrying a large array of military equipment and scientific instruments. Officially, the mission was described as exploring the Antarctic ice sheet, conducting meteorological and geological research, and laying the groundwork for future research stations. Yet what seemed like a standard scientific mission ended unusually quickly. Planned for 6 months, it was abruptly cut short after just 2 months, with heavy losses. 3 planes mysteriously disappeared, 1 ship was damaged, and multiple personnel were injured or killed. The US military explained the setback as encountering a rare Antarctic storm, which forced an early withdrawal to ensure the safety of personnel. This explanation may sound reasonable, but it has failed to convince everyone. After all, Rear Admiral Richard Byrd was a renowned American polar explorer with extensive experience in Antarctic expeditions. It is unlikely that he would abruptly terminate a carefully planned, large-scale operation simply because of a snowstorm, let alone suffer such heavy losses. What truly turned this mission into a mystery, however, was a document known as the Byrd Diary. This diary, claimed to have been personally recorded by Richard Byrd, was reportedly discovered by chance after his death. Its contents completely overturned people's understanding of Antarctica and offered a glimpse into the hidden world beneath the Antarctic ice. According to the diary, during the operation, Admiral Byrd personally piloted a reconnaissance aircraft in an attempt to cross the Antarctic interior no-fly zone to conduct a secret reconnaissance mission. When his aircraft reached the central region of the Antarctic ice sheet, something strange occurred. The aircraft's radar suddenly failed, the navigation system completely shut down, and the plane began to shake violently, as if it were being controlled by some mysterious force. Just as Byrd believed he was certain to die, he suddenly noticed something astonishing. The ice sheet below the aircraft began to crack open, and the once endless white landscape of ice and snow gradually disappeared. In its place appeared a green, ice-free region. There was dense vegetation, steaming lakes, and even rolling mountain ranges. It looked nothing like Antarctica. Instead, it resembled a warm and humid hidden paradise. Even more terrifying was what Byrd claimed to have seen next. In the diary, he wrote that he observed things that should not exist in Antarctica. Above those steaming lakes hovered massive artificial flying craft. These vehicles had strange shapes, no wings, no propellers, yet they floated steadily in the air while emitting a faint blue glow. On the ground, there were creatures several meters tall moving about. They had green skin, vertical pupils, thick limbs, and swift movements, resembling the legendary reptilians. Byrd also described in the diary that the gaze of these beings was cold and sharp, as if it could penetrate the aircraft's fuselage and reach directly into his soul. He even felt as though his thoughts were being read by them. After this diary was made public, the U.S. military immediately stepped forward to deny its authenticity, claiming that the diary was a forgery and nothing more than a fabricated conspiracy theory. They even suppressed anyone who claimed to know the contents of the diary. If the records in the Byrd diary are true, then why would the reptilians choose Antarctica as their habitat? The answer may lie in the survival habits of the reptilians and the unique geographic environment of Antarctica. The reptilians we refer to are not fictional creatures from legend, but an intelligent species older and more advanced than humans. As cold-blooded beings, they have extremely specific survival requirements. They strongly dislike the seasonal changes on the Earth's surface, the frequent geological disasters, and the fluctuations in oxygen concentration and temperature above ground. The environment beneath the Antarctic ice sheet happens to perfectly meet all of their needs. Because the Antarctic ice sheet can reach several thousand meters in thickness, it acts like a natural, protective shield, isolating the interior from surface seasonal changes, geological disasters, and external disturbances, providing the reptilians with a stable and secure living environment. More importantly, the Antarctic plate contains abundant active volcanoes and geothermal resources. These geothermal energies can provide the reptilians with a continuous energy supply, meeting their needs for heating, lighting, and production. As a result, at a depth of 3,000 meters beneath the Antarctic ice, the reptilians built a vast and magnificent underground empire, also known as the Agartha subbase. This base is not only their habitat, but also their secret headquarters for controlling the Earth while waiting to return to the surface. When we look at the full scale of this reptilian under-ice empire through ground-penetrating radar, its grandeur and precision are astonishing. The scale of this underground empire far exceeds human imagination. The entire empire is centered around geothermal vents and extends outward in all directions, forming a massive network of underground cities. The buildings in these cities have mirror-smooth surfaces capable of reflecting the faint light produced by geothermal energy. The entire underground world is enveloped in a soft blue glow, resembling a dreamlike realm. The energy system is the core of this underground empire. The reptilians use Antarctica's abundant active volcanoes and geothermal vents to construct dozens of enormous geothermal energy towers. These towers reach hundreds of meters in height, with their bases extending deep into geothermal vents, converting geothermal energy into electrical and thermal energy to power the entire underground city. The transportation network is another highlight of this underground empire. Using magnetic levitation technology and vacuum tunnels, the reptilians built an extensive underground transportation system. These vacuum tunnels run throughout the entire underground empire, connecting various city-states and major facilities. Maglev trains travel through the vacuum tunnels at extremely high speeds, exceeding 1,000 kilometers per hour, allowing the reptilians to reach any corner of their underground empire in a short time. Even more astonishing is that these vacuum tunnels are not limited to beneath the Antarctic ice. They extend beneath the Andes Mountains in South America and connect with the reptilians' underground bases around the world, forming a vast global underground transportation network. At this point, many people may wonder, if the reptilians possess such advanced technology and are capable of building such a magnificent underground empire, why don't they simply occupy the surface instead of hiding beneath the Antarctic ice? The answer is actually quite simple. The current surface environment has not yet reached the ideal living conditions for the reptilians. They are waiting for the perfect moment, and that moment is being created step by step by them. As a cold-blooded species, the reptilians have extremely strict requirements for temperature and oxygen concentration. At present, the average temperature of the Earth's surface is around 15 degrees Celsius, and the oxygen concentration is about 21%. While such an environment is suitable for human survival, it is not ideal for the reptilians. In addition, seasonal changes, typhoons, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and other geological disasters on the surface also pose threats to their survival. Therefore, the reptilians have not chosen to occupy the surface directly. Instead, they remain hidden beneath the Antarctic ice while continuing to improve their underground empire and gradually transform the surface environment. As for the task of transforming the surface environment, the reptilians have not carried it out personally. Instead, they have entrusted it to their disguised ones, hidden within the upper levels of human society. These disguised ones are mostly politicians, financial elites, entrepreneurs, and well-known figures from various countries. On the surface, they appear to be elites of human society who possess great power and wealth. In reality, they are agents of the reptilians. Through telepathic abilities granted by the reptilians, they receive instructions and then implement various policies and plans within human society that help the reptilians reshape the surface environment. The most central plan promoted by these disguised ones is what we all know as global warming. For a long time, humanity has believed that global warming is caused by large amounts of greenhouse gases emitted by human industrial activity. But the truth is not so simple. Global warming is actually a carefully planned greenhouse transformation project orchestrated by the reptilians, a crucial step in their effort to reshape the surface environment. The reptilians' disguised ones manipulate the energy policies and industrial development directions of various countries, deliberately increasing greenhouse gas emissions in order to accelerate the rise of global temperatures. By doing so, they aim to raise the average surface temperature and reduce oxygen concentration, gradually transforming the surface environment into one that is suitable for reptilian survival. This also explains why political leaders around the world frequently hold climate conferences and sign climate agreements, yet have never been able to effectively curb the trend of global warming. The reason is that these disguised ones are secretly obstructing real progress. On the surface, they loudly advocate environmental protection, but in reality, they continue to push policies that favor greenhouse gas emissions, accelerating the transformation of the surface environment. In addition, the reptilians, disguised ones, manipulate the direction of human society's development through various means. They control the global financial system, media narratives, and technological development, deliberately guiding humanity to pursue material pleasures while ignoring environmental problems. At the same time, they suppress those who might discover the secrets of Antarctica or expose the truth about the reptilians. Their objective is simple: to make humanity unknowingly become a tool for transforming the surface environment. Once the surface environment reaches their desired conditions, they will lead the reptilians out from beneath the Antarctic ice and completely take control of the entire Earth. Although the secrets of Antarctica are strictly sealed off by governments around the world and by the reptilians' disguised ones, there are always some individuals who, because of their work, accidentally come into contact with this secret and witness the truth beneath the Antarctic ice. Most of these people are retired polar expedition members, military radar operators, or staff at Antarctic research stations. During their time working in Antarctica, they unexpectedly discovered traces that did not belong to humans and heard strange, unexplainable sounds. Some once tried to share what they had seen and heard in Antarctica through the internet, only to find their accounts instantly banned and their posts completely deleted. Some were even threatened by unidentified individuals. All of this makes us realize that the secrets of Antarctica have been sealed so tightly that not even the smallest leak is allowed. Those who attempt to reveal the truth are like individuals confronting a vast and mysterious power, one that ultimately crushes them without mercy.